Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Unsettling Stories. Just like every day, I'm here to share a new terrifying story with you, sent by one of our subscribers. Let's listen to the story in their own words. Driving from Jerusalem to Amman.
It's really not that far and much faster, easier than flying. Just take an Israeli taxi to the King Hussein Bridge cross, and take a Jordanian taxi from there, all for much less than a much slower sur trip would be.
I was already in a bad mood because just prior to leaving Jerusalem, I bought a ticket to walk around the tops of the old city walls. One last tourist thing. I caught up with a group of Russian tourists and walked with them. I speak Russian and they were pretty fun, including one who took his shirt off, joking with me about being attracting the ladies. Full disclosure, I'm a girl. As we passed above the Arab quarter, these cute kids right below us shouted up, "Hello." When we answered in English, they threw rocks at us and hit one guy in the neck. They were throwing up. It didn't hurt too much, but speaking English and going shirtless was enough to get pelted, and it was upsetting. Everyone had been so nice to me up until then. So I was already in a bad mood when I caught a cab. Things started to get better when my nice Palestinian taxi driver told me lots of funny Palestinian jokes as we drove along. Then we were stopped at one checkpoint on the highway, but it looked like it would be a quick stop until I presented my passport. I'm a dual US-EU citizen, and was using my US passport in Israel because I was told that border control would stamp a card, instead of the actual passport, for US citizens so that I could later travel to Arab countries that won't allow people who visit Israel to enter. The Israeli soldiers, police, saw my US passport and smiled at me. Then they opened it, saw, place of birth, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and their faces fell. They went from seeing me as a friend to looking hurt that I was an enemy without my opening my mouth. Then the search took a little longer. When we got to the bridge, we were too late. It closed 10 minutes before sundown to reopen the next morning. The border guards told us of another a few km down the road, so we tried to find it. We got lost. Very lost. It was dark, there were few lights, no signs, and my driver had never been there before. We finally found a middle-aged Orthodox Jewish man walking by, so my driver asked him in Hebrew where the bridge was. He gave directions, but the driver said he suspected the guy deliberately gave us the wrong directions to mess with him because he's Palestinian. I dismissed this as paranoia until one ran into two secular-looking Israeli girls a few minutes later who gave us the correct directions, very contrary to the ones the Orthodox guy gave us. We found the bridge, paid my driver, and entered the border crossing office on foot. That was okay, but finding the bus that actually crossed the bridge was a bit hard in the dark. When the near-empty bus stopped on the Jordanian side, everyone but me had someone to pick them up. I walked the 200 meters or so to the taxi stand, easy to find as the one light in the distance, where I signed a book with my information, passport number, taxi driver's name and license, etc. This seemed like a safe system, and I got into front seat of the rickety cab with confidence. As we drove along the highway, we chatted a little and everything seemed fine. All of a sudden the driver pulled onto a dark, unlit road leading up into the mountains running to the left of the highway. I immediately protested and insisted on returning to the main road. The driver told me that the mountain road was a shortcut, but I said I'd pay the metered fare for the longer main route that went through towns. He went back to the highway, and then creeped me out even further, asking me if I had anyone waiting for me in Amman. I lied and said yes. My husband flew in from Dubai earlier that day and was already at the hotel. Shortly after that, his wife called him on his cell phone and he had me talk to her to vouch for his whereabouts. When we got to Amman and found the hotel, we couldn't find the entrance. I wanted out of that cab so badly I said it was fine, paid, and got out. It was late at night, without a person on the street, and I had to walk around a scary block to find the front of the hotel, well lit with a lot full of cars and a smiling doorman. I've never been so glad to see a meridian in my life. TLDR: Arab children threw stones at me. Israeli soldiers pulled my luggage and car apart. An Orthodox Jewish man deliberately lied to me to get me lost.
I had to walk across part of a dark, silent bridge alone. A Jordanian taxi driver may have wanted to kidnap me, and I dragged my suitcase around Amman in the middle of the night.
I'm still glad that I went to Israel, to Palestine and to Jordan, but next time I'll fly.
Thanks for watching.